Gambia's police force has commenced its road clearing operations within the Greater Banjul area and West Coast region. Ghana's president renewed his government commitment in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And Nigeria vows to increase its oil production after signing a deal with OPEC. Well, this and more coming ahead on The World Today. Hello, this is Africa TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us. And now the news in detail. Now the Gambia Police Force on Monday began its operation to clear the street within the Greater Banjul area and the West Coast region. The move, according to the police spokesperson, is to sanitize the roads to all unwarranted obstruction to the pathways. Our reporter Binti Janlo was on the ground and she tells us more in this report.
This sanitized operation is expected to affect individuals who have derelict vehicles on the side of the roads and business places such as mechanic garages and shops that sells tires along different highways, causing obstruction on the flow of traffic. The police kickstarts its operation in Brikama in the West Coast region, where all streets within the region and beyond is expected to be cleared. An initial announcement from the Gambia Police Force had encouraged the public to comply with its new initiated operation of clearing the roads. The Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Police Force, Superintendent Lamin Jai, advised the affected people to desist from such acts.
One very vital information that we want to put across, especially regarding this operation, is the fact that we want or clear the road. We want to appeal to the general public, especially those who are affected, to ensure that they don't return to these places. We have had several informations around, say, oh, you know, police will remove these things, but tomorrow or next tomorrow, people will come back again and continue. But as you can see today, we have cleared this whole area here used to be occupied by vendors and so, but today we have ensured that none of these vendors are around here. But we will also move to ensure that places that need to be demolished, that's why you have these heavy machines here as well. And so all those things will be done. But most importantly, we want the general public to ensure that when we removed or when you are affected, you don't come back to this place, because if you do, there will be consequences, because we will prosecute people and there will be penalties attached to it.
Bakari Mani from the National Road Authority stated that people cannot use roads as markets or garages.
We are the custodians of the roads, all roads and bridges in this country. And of course, it is our mandate and our responsibility to see to that the roads are free from obstruction. This is another way of maintaining, since our primary responsibility lies on maintaining the roads that we build. You will all bear with us. The National Roads Authority, we build roads, and of course we are maintaining it, but our main obstacle, our main problems are our roads has been torn into markets, workshops, and all kind of businesses. People live in their premises, their business centers, using the roads as their business centers. That cannot be allowed.
First of all, we mainly spoke to the truck drivers and truckers along the turntable area who are equally affected by this, are going to be affected by this operation. So what their main concern was, they are not, of course, denying the fact that where they are is obstruction, and of course where they are not supposed to be there. But then what they are also complaining of is that before the police will remove them out of where they are, and this is where they are earning their daily meal, what they would like the government to do for them is to give them a place where they are going to, of course, move to.
The frequent traffic jam with lack of proper road networking in the country has triggered strong concerns among Gambian citizens, considering the huge economic losses it caused to the West African nation. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallo.
Our reporter Binta Jallo there has the Gambia Police Force begun operations of clearing roads within the Greater Banjul area and the West Coast region. Now, Nigeria's government is set to increase its oil production after signing cooperation with the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Despite the improved stability in the Niger Delta region, not everyone is convinced of the government's projection of producing 1.88 barrels per day. The new OPEC deal is expected to boost the country's economy, but some experts believe the state should find other options. Here is more details of that in this report.
The new OPEC deal is certainly good news for Nigeria, but whether the country can go on to actually hit 1.8 million barrels per day of crude production is difficult to tell. While there's been relative peace in the country's oil-rich Niger Delta, a recent threat by a militant group Niger Delta Avengers to resume attack on oil facilities in the region could upset oil output.
We cannot clap with one hand. What influences revenue and what goes to foreign reserve is both quantity and price. So we also need to say that other things being equal, if the increase and price remain the same, which hardly is the case in recent time, we can say it will have positive impact.
Our balance of trade has turned negative. So as long as you have a negative balance of trade, you are going to continue to see a depletion in your reserve. So hopefully, the increase in volume allocated to Nigeria will lead to a reversal of that balance of trade deficit.
Going by its 2022 budget projections, Nigeria targets to produce 1.88 million barrels of oil per day. The projection is one thing, while meeting it is another. If the current calm in the Niger Delta region continues to hold, then there's a slight chance it could meet that target, which will be around the new OPEC quota for the country. But many are not that optimistic.
This is not the first time federal government will come with a strategy paper of projection of 1.8, 1.9, 1.6, 1.7. We have always seen all of those. The question is, have we been able to achieve in revenue our projections? I'm afraid the answer is no. Most of the time, when we project we are going to sell 1.8 million per day, we are unable to achieve this because of insecurity, concerns around Niger Delta, global oil prices.
With earnings from oil seriously depleted, Nigeria's currency, the naira, has come under severe pressure, forcing the country's central bank to carry out a series of devaluations. But with oil prices rising, in addition to the potential higher production output, analysts say the pressure on local currency could ease off.
If prices stay strong in the region of $70 to $75 per barrel, one should expect that all things being equal, that Nigeria's reserve will begin to appreciate, and the pressure we're currently witnessing on the exchange rate would at least to some extent moderate.
Oil continues to define Nigeria's economy, but analysts say what the country's managers need to do is think beyond oil and engage in export promotion and import substitution as a permanent fix to the challenges confronting the economy. The government says it is doing just that, but for now, oil still continues to drive the engine of this economy.
From the report in Nigeria, next to neighboring Ghana, where the Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo has on Sunday updated Ghanaians on the country's enhanced response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In his 26th nation address, Ghanaian leader announced a review of safety protocols for public gatherings to minimize the spread of the virus. Desisa tells us more of that in this report.
Ghana, like many other African nations, is experiencing the third wave of COVID-19 infections. These increased infections has been largely driven by the Delta variant of the virus, which according to WHO has increased transmission and cases in the country. In his 26th nation address, President Nana Akufo-Addo declared a review of safety protocols of COVID-19 pandemic, including the mandatory wearing of face masks in Ghana.
The COVID-19 task force, which I chair, has recommended that a second look be taken at the protocols that have been put in place for social and public gatherings, in particular weddings and funerals across the country. I have in previous updates emphasized the need for the strict observance of safety protocols at all such gatherings. To ensure that such gatherings do not become the sources of infections, the following must be adhered to by all at these gatherings. Firstly, the wearing of masks continues to be mandatory, and persons must respect the enhanced hygiene protocols. Secondly, all such events must be held in open-air spaces. Thirdly, the duration of such events is limited to 2 hours.
According to President Akufo-Addo, Ghanaians have left their guards down, with many going about daily duties in disregard for COVID-19 protocols. He reassured his government's commitment in fighting against COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
The Ghana Health Service has moved to fortify its contact tracing, testing, and treating campaigns, especially across the hotspots of Greater Accra and Greater Kumasi metropolitan areas. COVID-19 treatment centers continue to be resourced with medical supplies, personal protection equipment, and health workers. We will continue to ensure that all arriving passengers at the Kotoka International Airport are in possession of a negative PCR test result upon their arrival in Ghana, a test which should have been conducted not more than 72 hours before the scheduled departure from the country of origin. In addition, all passengers will continue to be subjected to a mandatory COVID test on arrival.
Meanwhile, Ghana is expecting through the COVAX facility 1 million Pfizer vaccines from the United States, 229,670 Pfizer vaccine from the African Union, and 249,000 AstraZeneca vaccines from the United Kingdom. Ghana government commits to vaccinate 20 million of its citizens, covering the entire adult population by the end of this year. COVID-19 virus continues to jeopardize the lives and livelihoods of many people across the world. As of 21st July 2021, nearly 1,400,000 tests have been conducted, with little over 100,000 infected persons. 96,255 persons have recovered from the virus in Ghana so far. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy Say.
And from that report there on the COVID-19 situation in Ghana, let's do more COVID-19 news. This time in Uganda, where the reintroduced measures by the government to tame the spread of the coronavirus pandemic is taking toll on the lives of Ugandans. Major businesses and public meeting centers, such as schools and worship places, have been shut down as part of efforts to suppress the spread of the pandemic. According to the United Nations, the move is deteriorating the lives of citizens despite the government's providing relief support. Here's more details of that in this report.
Sanyo Rose is surviving on handouts from friends. She says the lockdown cut off her source of income.
When they announced the lockdown, my employer sent me home without a penny. This has greatly affected me.
Uganda is currently in a 42-day lockdown, a strategy announced by the government to contain the spread of coronavirus. Public transport, places of worship, schools and all major business areas are closed. Only essential services like health workers, security and emergency response teams are allowed to operate. Sanyo has been locked into this one room for close to a month now without work. She says this has affected her ability to fend for her family. They now eat one meal a day. According to the UN, the situation is getting out of hand. They are worried that because of limited access to healthy foods, cases of malnutrition could go up.
they don't go out, they don't earn their daily wage, and so they're going to be eating differently. They might be eating less, or they might be eating less healthy food. And this is what we've seen more happening in Uganda to the urban poor.
The Uganda government is now giving cash handouts to those affected by the lockdown. And so far, about 400,000 people have benefited from the COVID-19 relief fund.
But this particular effort, which we are briefing you about, is intended to support households or families that mainly are resident in urban areas.
But the UN Food and Agriculture Organization says the government needs to do more.
So we've got to protect the weakest, and some of the ways to do that are social safety nets, right? These people don't have social safety nets. Maybe you've got some savings that can help you if you lose your job, or maybe I have, but these people do not. So we've got to help them with social safety nets. The government does have some social protection mechanisms, but they need to be reviewed. They need to be repurposed. They need to be scaled up, right? They need to be expanded in scope.
Hopefully, with such interventions, people like Sanyu could access healthy foods to feed their families.
The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect the lives of many people around the world, especially in Kampala, Uganda, as you just watched from that report. Now, we come back home and do something else, because the interim party leader of the APRC, Bakari Tambunjata, has delivered a petition to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice for onward transmission to the President during a peaceful protest against the TRC on Monday. According to him, the petition is not about the TRC's recommendation, as they have no idea on what is in the Commission's recommendations. Instead, the petition is geared towards the appointments and the process throughout the course of the hearings, describing the TRC as illegal. Here is Bakari Tambunjata speaking to the press shortly after submitting the petition to the minister.
What we wanted and what we had cried for was that it should be done honestly, transparently, and for the greater interest of the Gambian people. I am sure most of you will agree with me that from the onset, the whole process of the TRRC has been compromised. Decisions had already been reached, an institution created to justify those judgments given by a clique of people in this country. So as I said, we don't want to preempt before His Excellency receives the petition. But I will just give you an insight into what we think are flaws in the whole process, to the extent that we believe that the TRRC report, when it comes out, should be in the waste paper basket, just like the CRRC report on the Constitution.
We will bring you more details of Bakari's statement or encounter with the media after a peaceful protest organized by the party against the TRRC, and eventually handing a petition to the Minister of Justice for an onward transmission to the President. More on that in our subsequent news editions. But for now, we will take a break and come back shortly with the rest of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3- and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. with a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment. You will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Olyunda.
Welcome back, and this is iAfrica TV, and once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, waste has become a growing problem in the Gambia. Youth like Abdullah Kante, the manager of waste management, has taken up green jobs as they connect the dots in the path of sustainable development. According to Kante, the reason why the youth are engaged in waste collection is to curb unemployment rate in the country. Aishat B.I. Kujabi tells us more of that in this report.
With an increasing rate of unemployment in the country, Gambian youths are shifting attention to an alternative means of job creation. Even those with a day job often struggle to cater for their financial needs, and those begging for the need for an extra source of income. Abdullah Kante is one of them. He moved from working at a bank to creating a waste management business. Mr. Kante said he ventured into this industry to recruit youths and contribute to the coping the skyrocketing unemployment rate in the country.
I have been doing this job for some Americans before, for like 5 years. After that 5 years experience, so when these Americans they left back to America, I decided to continue on the same on the waste management job, because I situated that definitely I don't want to be sitting here and say there's no job in this country, or I want to go back way to go and look for something. So I situated that maybe my belief is like, if I try it here, I can also have something, I can make it here. Yeah, that's why I venture into these waste collections.
Kante said he has also created job opportunity for more than 10 people in his line of work.
In fact, before I go into waste management, I was working with the bank, and I also work with an insurance company. But since I started doing this waste management, I decided to see, look, we can do through this waste management, I can see myself in, and I have a lot of people that I used to work with. Like, I have 10 employees right now that are working with me. You understand? So it's like creating employment for the youths and for myself also. Yeah.
He urged citizens to help in boosting his business by providing him with trucks which will help him do the job easier and faster. Waste management includes the activities and action required to manage waste from its inception to its final disposal. This includes the collection, transport, treatment and disposal of waste, together with monitoring and regulation of the waste management process. For iAfrica News, I am Aisha B.I. Kujabi.
Inspiring one there by Aisha too, because waste management is becoming more of a problem, if not already one, in the Gambia. Finally, for now, environmentalists in Democratic Republic of Congo have expressed concerns over the continuous pollution of the continent's second largest river in the country. Factories and people residing in the city are responsible for the heavy dumping of waste in streams, of course linking water channels, connecting the water blocked. Now the situation is also shocking to some citizens, whilst the government is initiating measures to address the environmental matters. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Congo River is the second longest river in Africa after the Nile. The Democratic Republic of Congo was named after it. But the river has been heavily polluted by plastics and other chemical waste in the capital, Kinshasa. Environmental experts conduct routine tests every year to check the water quality.
Vous remarquerez vous-même que ces rivières, d'abord, l'eau n'est pas claire.
You can see for yourself that the water in this stream isn't clear. It has toxins that will have a negative impact on the fish and plants living in it. We keep monitoring it twice a year and give our results to authorities.
Il y a 2 ans,
Factories and people living around the city dump their waste in streams. This is one of the channels that drains into the Congo River, but the water has been covered up by heaps of plastic waste. One can comfortably walk across it without sinking. Some of the locals are calling on city authorities to clean up the waste.
This garbage can make us contract diseases like malaria and typhoid. I just don't understand why we are living like this. I get shocked whenever I see people walking on the plastic bottles covering the water.
The government says it has a program aimed at solving the city's poor waste disposal system.
The Ministry of Environment is taking some steps in terms of setting up some programs for, strengthening controls on some of these manufacturing companies within Kinshasa. And at the same time, also, the town of Kinshasa is also taking some measures to try to, I recall 2 years ago, they had a program with the European Union whereby the European Union has funded a dumping area to dump some of these, waste and then treat them.
Last year, the governor of Kinshasa introduced a program called Kin Bopeto to keep the city clean. It helped reduce the amount of garbage in the city, but there's still a lot that needs to be done in the suburbs where most people live.
And from that report there in DR Congo, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on africa.tv. But for now, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.